Welcome to our SVM 11th students. Today we are going to see about Newton's third law and discuss about the Newton's all the three laws. In our third lesson, laws of motion. First, in the total topic, we will take on that Newton's third law. From one example, we will given that definition of Newton's third law. Example, we are going to take one rubber ball. If we throw towards the wall, at the time of the ball hit on that wall, ball can extract a force on that wall, and the wall also simultaneously extract a force on that ball. That we will take on a diagram. We consider this is a wall. Now, one of our stand here and throw a ball towards the wall. At the time of the ball hit on that wall, this ball can consider as a first object, that is a object 1. This ball can be taken as a object 2. At the time of hitting, that object 1 ball given certain force on that wall in this direction. In this direction, that force can be expressed as F21 vector, because 1 is act on that 2, that can be expressed as F21 vector. At the same instant, same time, this wall also extract a force on that ball. That force can be taken in this direction. That can be expressed as F12 vector. That is, the second object extract a force on that first object. But what happened there? That two forces are act in opposite direction. Towards the wall, F21 is acting. Towards the ball, F12 is acting. But the two are equal and opposite direction. And that another concept, that are in the same line of action. Line of action is the same. So that's why these two forces can be equal by this expression, F21 vector equal to F12 vector, but the two are in opposite direction. That's why we are mentioning negative sign. So based on that practical application, the two forces are equally acting but in opposite direction. If ball extract a force on that wall, it may be called as action. At the same instant, wall also extract a force on that ball. Due to that action on that wall makes reaction on that ball. Equal and opposite forces acting. That's why in these two forces, ball given force may be taken as action, wall given force may be taken as a reaction. We don't want to take on ball given force is action, wall given force is a reaction. Either one is action, another one is the reaction. According to this concept, we will given the definition for that Newton's third law. Very simple statement we are going to give. What is that? Newton's third law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is a statement. This is the statement for that Newton's third law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Anyway, from our example, one force may be taken as a action, another force may be taken as a reaction. The two forces are not act on that same object. So, action and reaction forces are act on the two different bodies. So, action act on that wall means reaction act on that wall. That's why we are taken action and reaction forces or act on that two different bodies. That's why in our mechanical concept, cause and effect. The cause and effect means if you apply a force, that force can be act on one of the object to make acceleration. The forces can be taken as a cause and the acceleration can be taken as a effect. Not like that these two forces. That action and reactions are act on the different objects. Due to that, we cannot take an action and reactions are cause and effect. Cause and effect must be act on that same object itself. Forces act on the object, object makes a acceleration. That same object can be acted, that is for the force cause and effect. But these action and reactions are not act on that same object, two different objects. That's why we can say action and reaction cannot say cause and effect. Okay. Another thing, we have inertial frame and non-inertial frame. Without force, the frame is not accelerated. That frame is called as a inertial frame. Without force, some frames, the frame itself accelerated. That is called as a non-inertial frame. What are maybe the type of the frames? Newton's third law is valid. Newton's third law is valid means if it is a inertial or non-inertial, between the two objects, the force may be acted, one may be taken as an action, another may be taken as a reaction. So that's why third law, Newton's third law, valid in both inertial and non-inertial. But that two forces are not act on that same object, on that different object, two different objects. That's why we are taken mainly that action and reaction cannot say these two are cause and effect. And it can be valid in inertial as well as the non-inertial frame. What is inertial frame? all physics laws valid. That is, without force, without net force, the frame cannot accelerate it. That is the inertial frame. Unaccelerated frame, we generally says. Non-inertial frame, without force, the frame itself makes acceleration. That's why non-inertial frame also called as a accelerated frame. Either accelerated frame or unaccelerated frame, there between the two objects, one hit on that another, Newton's third law is valid. Newton's third law is valid. We have a lot of the examples. If you sit on your chair, you exert some force on the chair. At the same time, chair also exert same amount of force in opposite direction. Then only you can rest on your chair. If any object rests on that table, there we have two forces are acting. One is weight of the book is act on that table in the downward direction. Same time, that table exert a force on that book in the upward direction. If the two are equal, then only the book is at rest. Without net force becomes a zero, the book will not rest at that table. That is very clear. There also we can apply a Newton's third law. We cannot say single force is existed. So whatever the place where you have an object, what may be placed, it may be accelerated or it is rest, it can be moves in constant velocity, whatever may be that, there no single force is acting. There two forces are acting. But if it is valid that object is at rest, the two forces are equal and opposite. If it is accelerated, net force we have. That is the concept of Newton's second law. That is a force, net force, and we have relation of acceleration. Anyhow, that is the third law explanation. Next we are going to see the discussion of all the three Newton's laws. So Newton's laws, we have three laws. First law, second law, third law. Without net force, rest object in its rest itself, uniform velocity motion object can be moved in a uniform velocity itself, unless the force is acted on that. But we can take on, if net force is zero, rest object rests itself, uniform velocity motion object can be moved in a uniform velocity itself in particular direction. Okay. Next, second law, you know that, I think. Any object we have moves, there we have a change in momentum with respect to time. That may be called as a rate of change of momentum. That rate of change of momentum of any object depends upon that external, not internal, external unbalanced force. That is the net force act on that object. It may be acted by many forces. There we require the net force. That net force makes that object change in the momentum with respect to time. There we have the acceleration also. So if we have a net force, then only that the particles or object makes a acceleration. That is the second law concept. Then we have a third law. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This all accumulated explanation we are going to see. This all the laws involved that name of that force. Force is what quantity? Vector quantity. That's why Newton's laws are called as a vector laws. First point discussion is Because of about that force, we are going to discuss in that our three laws. The force is a vector quantity. That's why Newton's laws are vector laws. Vector laws. So in that very simple equation, you know, I think F is equal to ma according to our Newton's second law. So force is a vector quantity, acceleration also vector quantity. That's why if you write in a vector form, F vector equal to m into a vector, we can take on in a straight line motion. That may be called as a one-dimensional motion. We can take on in a plane. On that plane, any object is acted by a force that can be makes acceleration. That is a two-dimensional motion. If we take on three-dimensional axis, if it is a free space, one object is in that free space that is acted on one of that force that can be moved in a certain angular direction. There we have three components of the forces. Along the x-axis, we can take on that x componental force. Along the y-axis, y componental force. Then z-axis, that is a force on that z component. That's why our general force can be split into three components. If it is a three-dimensional, we can take on. At the same time, acceleration also we have three components. That's why this expression can be changed into three-dimensionally. That can be taken as fx into I cap. That is I cap is along the x directions. Says fy into j cap plus fz into k cap. That can be equal to three components of that mass into acceleration. That is m into ax into I cap plus m ay into j cap plus m az into k cap. From this equation, from left side you have taken is the x component. That the x component is scalar value equal to that right side x component. That is we are given that vector expression. In that we have three scalar components. What are the three scalar components means? That is fx in our x direction. Fx is equal to max is a scalar component in x direction, we can say. So anyhow, acceleration in that x direction is depends upon only by that forces, component of the force act in the x direction itself. That's why we can say ax depends on only by fx alone. Okay. Similarly, fy equal to m into ay. Already we says that is ax. That is acceleration in the x direction. The acceleration in x direction is depends only the force component in the x direction itself. Similarly, we can take on ay depends only fy itself. That is acceleration in y direction is depends upon that force component in y itself. And another third axis, the z axis we have, that can be taken as fz is equal to maz. Here also we can say acceleration in that z direction depends only on that component of the force in that z direction. Az depends only on that fz itself. Suppose you have acceleration in x direction, This acceleration only depends upon force component of that x direction itself, not depends upon that force component act on that y direction and z direction. So that's why we can say force component act along the y and z directions cannot alter the acceleration of the x component direction. So that's why similarly for one direction acceleration is depends only that direction force alone. Other forces cannot alter the acceleration in this particular either x direction or y direction or z direction. This is a very important component. Okay, this is the Newton's second law equation. Anyhow, that we are altered into three component. In that each component acted by that same direction force alone, that is acceleration acted by that same direction force alone, not by the other forces. This is the very important point in our vector formula. Okay. Second point, according to our Newton's second law, we have the acceleration. There we are going to see that acceleration at the instant. If object is moving from one place to another place, movement, it will take certain time. Between that movement, there we are going to take on one point means at a t time that object gets that acceleration. So that acceleration can be taken as a of t. A of t is nothing but acceleration at a t time. A of t is nothing but acceleration of the object at t time. So this acceleration depends upon which one we are going to see. This acceleration of the object at t time depends only the force act on the object at that instant only, not that previous forces. At the instant, what amount of force is acting, based on that we have a acceleration. So that's why the acceleration of that object at a t time depends only force at the instant. Does not depends upon the previous forces. Previously, some greater force or lesser force may be acted. That force will not alter, that is given the acceleration at the instant. The instant what amount of force is acting, based on that we have a acceleration. That's why our Newton's second law expression, time dependent expression. Time dependent expression means force f of t. With respect to time, that is a force. If it is a t is equal to 0 at the time, we have some force. Anyhow, f of t equal to m into a of t. Because these two are vector quantity, that's why f of t vector equal to m into a of t vector. That's why that a of t vector depends or proportional to that f of t vector only, not depends upon that forces already exist. Example, we have lot of examples. Very simple example we can take on. In a cricket ground, bowler bowling a ball, batsman ready to hit the ball to make the ball to get a six. So bowler starts to running. After that, completing the running at that pitch, he releases its ball. Who are maybe fast bowler or spin bowler? At the time of releasing, he may given certain force. That force is at the time of releasing ball force only. Between that bowler to that batsman, ball want to travel certain distance. Between that travel, that ball can be makes acceleration. At any instant acceleration, not depends upon that the bowler given force. Only at the time of releasing the ball, only the acceleration depends upon the force given by the bowler. After that, the ball is in motion means at the time of motion, the previous force will not given the acceleration of that ball at the instant. That time, at the movement in air, there we have gravitational force as well as the air resist force or air drag force. So, between that movement, at any instant, at the time, what amount of gravitational force as well as the air resistance force is acting, based on that, at the instant acceleration we have, that is one of the simplest example. Acceleration of that object at any instant depends upon that force act at the instant itself, not depends upon that previous one. That is the second point we have. Next we have a third point. If you have a object, if that object is acted by a force, sometimes the object moves in a straight line, sometimes based on that example in a circular motion. In circular path the object may be moves. There we have a force act on that object. Centripetal force is acting. And another thing, if you throw the object in upwards, after releasing the object in upward direction, that object may be moves in upward. On that any instant, gravitational forces act in a downward direction. That's why the upward throwing object makes retardation. At a particular height, velocity becomes zero, once again comes down. That's why for any object, acted force and the direction of the motion may not be in a same direction. It may be different direction also can be taken. Not only the different direction. So one case we have same direction. Some other cases in other direction also we have. That's why we are taken in general. The third point we are going to take on the direction of the force. Acted on that object and direction of the motion. May be different, not in that same direction, may be different. Maybe means it may be acted in the same direction, different direction, opposite direction. Without force also object can be moved. We have a 3 or 4 cases we have in that based on the direction of the force acted on that object and the direction of the motion may be different. Natural, some cases may be in the same direction. So that's why we have here 4 cases. That case is going to discuss now. First case. Case 1. What condition we are going to take on means motion of the direction of the motion and the direction of the force are in the same. The direction of the force is in the same direction of that motion. Otherwise, we can take the direction of the motion of the object is in that same direction of that force. Anyway, we can take on this point. We have some examples. What we can take on means is a ground level. We have a tall building. We have a tall building. On that tall building, we are standing. We would like to leave one of that stone from that height, h height. It's a very simple example. From this height, if you leave one of the stone, if you leave a stone from a certain height, that stone automatically come towards that ground surface because of that gravitational force. Because of that gravitational force. So here is the direction of the movement. That is the direction of the motion. As well as gravitational force acting. So that's why force and motion, both the directions are in the same direction. For any object move towards the ground. Not only this example we can take from an apple tree. Apple fall towards that earth. There the movement of that apple, that is the motion of the apple, as well as the gravitational force acting, both are in a same direction itself. That is one example for that both direction of the motion as well as the direction of the force are in same. Another example, another case we are going to take in case 2. What is going to take on means not in the same direction. Motion of the object, that is direction of the motion of the object is not same direction of the force. So for here, movement direction at the instant may be one direction, the force may be acted in the opposite direction. That is other directions. For that best example we can take we have earth and moon. Moon can be moved in elliptical orbit around the earth. Moon can be moved in elliptical orbit around the earth. So in that elliptical path, moon can be moved. For the movement of that moon in elliptical path, what kind of force is acting? That is a centripetal force is acting. Centripetal force, which direction is acting means towards the earth. Centripetal force acting towards the earth. In its path of the motion of that moon, each instant we have velocity direction. That can be taken as the direction of the motion. Here at this instant, this can be taken as the direction of the motion. Is the direction of the force. Direction of the force. So from our example of moon revolve around that earth in elliptical orbit, motion of that moon direction is some direction, not in that same direction of that centripetal force. That is that second case. Then we have third case we have. In some places, if you throw the stone in upward direction, the movement of the object in upward. So what about the gravitational force? At the instant force is gravitational force. Gravitational force is acting downward direction. That's why direction of the motion motion of the object is in the opposite direction of the force. We have one example that we can take, a very simple example. We are standing on that ground. We would like to throw our stone vertically upwards. So the stone can be moved in upward direction. At any instant point, suppose at that position we are taken, the movement, that is the motion of the stone, direction is this. What happens that the gravitational force downward direction. So both are the motion as well as that force are act in opposite direction. If it is act in same direction, particle makes a positive acceleration. Rate of change of velocity is a positive. If a force is acting opposite the direction of the motion, automatically we can say the object makes a retardation itself. Negative acceleration is happened. Up to that certain height, the object can be reaches. After that, comes down because of the gravitational force. So this is the example for direction of the motion of the object is opposite to the direction of the force. Next, third one we have. So the fourth one, sorry. Case 4. What case means? Our Newton's first law. What says in Newton's first law? Unless compelled by any force, object can be moves in a uniform velocity or rest. Okay, we leave it that rest case. We will take an object is moves in a uniform velocity. Uniform velocity means constant speed with a particular direction itself. Constant speed with a particular direction. So there net force is 0. That's why we are saying no force. Force will not act. That is the meaning of net force is 0. Wherever we have an object, whenever it be taken, we cannot say no force is acting. There we should mention that no force is nothing but a net force is 0. No force, but object is in motion. Object in motion. So where we can take one of the example for that no force and the object is motion in naturally at the time of rainy season. What happened that we are getting a rain. So how we are getting that rain droplets? The rain droplets can be reaches the ground. You must observe very clearly. Example, in a certain height we have a rainy cloud. Rainy cloud. Okay. If rain started, means what happened then? From that rainy cloud, rain droplets are detached from that rainy cloud. At the time of detaching, what happened that force act on that raindrop means downward gravitational force. At the same time, air resistance force acting upward direction. Air drag force is acting on that upward direction. At the instant of detaching that raindrops from that rainy cloud, air drag force is very small as compared to the gravitational force. That's why raindrop makes acceleration. Raindrop makes acceleration. It will move in one particular time, after the t time. What happens means the two forces may be equal. What the two forces? Gravitational force and air resist force. Gravitational force is acting downward direction. Fg act in downward direction. Air resistance or air drag force is in upward direction. Initially, air drag force is small as compared to that gravitational force. Up to what time? That is, air drag force is lesser than that gravitational force, that particle accelerated. That is, raindrop is accelerated. At one fine time, that two becomes equal. That's why net force is 0. Even though net force is 0, raindrop move towards that earth itself, ground surface. Where we have a net force, after that the velocity remains constant. Velocity remains constant means that is a uniform motion it makes. Whatever may be that uniform or non-uniform motion makes, we have net force is 0. Whenever we have net force is 0, it makes a uniform motion itself, if it is a motion. That is the fourth case in our force as well as that motions are may or may not in different directions. That is a very important point. There we have completed 4 cases. Okay. Anyway, we have completed some cases in our laws of motion, Newton's laws of motion. You go through very clearly. Thank you for all of our 11th students.